those days the angels, see, that's the angels that are doing this. In those days the angels shall descend into the secret places. They shall gather together into one place all those who gave aid to sin. And we know that that's the winepress. And the Most High will arise on that day of judgment in order to execute a great judgment upon all the sinners. So you have this imagery already contained in these books from the time in which John wrote. Now what about the 1,600 stadia? The fact is that the Bible, in the book of Revelation specifically, intensifies numbers to represent that these numbers are not literal, but they express something much greater, something which is universal. Now, 1,600 is 4 times 4 times 100. Now, number 4 is the number of universality, the 4 angles of the earth. But what John is doing, inspired by the Holy Spirit, is intensifying the number 4. He's multiplying 4 times 100 to express the fact that the winepress covers the whole earth. In fact, the Bible does this also with the 144,000. The 144,000 is 12 times 1,000. In other words, it represents a much larger group than literally 144,000 people. So basically, the 1,600 stadia is a multiple of 4 intensified, which represents the fact that the wicked will be found globally in the winepress of the world, surrounding God's faithful people that are in spiritual Jerusalem on a global or worldwide scale. Now, there's an interesting commentary made by Jameson, Fawcett, and Brown. This is a very well-known Bible commentary. It's not written by Seventh-day Adventists, but they grasped this idea that 1,600 represents something that happens on a worldwide scale. They say in their commentary this: 1,600, a square number, 4 by 4 by 100. The 4 quarters, they explain, north, south, east, and west of the Holy Land, or else of the world. The universality of the worldwide destruction being indicated. And so basically they're saying that 1,600 stadia represents an intensified number 4, symbolizing the fact that this is going to take place on a global or worldwide scale. So it's not necessary for us to look over to the literal Middle East for the fulfillment of these prophecies. The final issue is not Jews against the Russians and the Arabs or the Palestinians. The final issue does not have to do with the oil of the Middle East. The final issues are not of a political nature. The final issues are whether you have the seal of God or the mark of the beast, whether you are obedient to the commandments of God or whether you are disobedient, whether you worship God on His holy day or whether you worship on the day that the beast has established as a counterfeit day of worship. In other words, the final issues will not be material or financial or economic. They will have to do with deep spiritual issues. Who do you obey? Who do you worship will determine on which side you are. And I pray that as we come to an end of this study, this fascinating study from Revelation chapter 14, verses 14 through 20, that all of us will make the decision to worship God, to obey the commandments of God, to keep His holy Sabbath, not because we have to, not because we're forced to, not in order to earn salvation, but because we love Jesus, and because we love Him, we want to obey Him.